Have you ever seen sushi taller than a 100-story building, requiring you to eat it from day to night, from grasslands to deserts? This sushi was created by the village chief's ring cooking. The village chief stretched his body a couple of times, wrapped a piece of tuna, and threw it onto the ring. Immediately following, he delivered a high-altitude slam, then a super back throw. It was like a fighting match. Was this really cooking? Then, the village chief transformed into a madman, relentlessly pounding the tuna until it softened and the aroma intensified. He then threw a giant, stinky durian at the railing, and as it bounced back, he used a leaping lock to subdue it. Next, he unleashed a death crosslock on the tuna's arm until its elbow groaned in agony. And so, the village chief battled with various ingredients for 3 days and 3 nights without stopping, finally completing his ring cooking. Looking at the thing before them, taller than a 100-story building, Aru and Komatsu were completely dumbfounded. It's ridiculously big. Suddenly, the giant sushi started shaking and began to dance ballet in the air. If such a huge sushi were to fall, it would probably cause a magnitude 10 earthquake. Seeing this, Komatsu Aru ran faster than anyone else. Wherever the giant sushi went, birds and beasts fled, and forests were destroyed. It resembled a sleeping dragon, coiled between heaven and earth. The village chief told the two that this fortune-telling sushi had to be eaten whole in one go for it to be effective and help them find the legendary dream ingredient. But if they couldn't finish it, it would lose its power. But for the gluttonous Aru, this was a piece of cake. He immediately led Koto to eat the fortune-telling sushi to their heart's content. It was so delicious they couldn't stop. Every bite was different from the rest. Juicy sausage and eggplant, incredibly delicious fish and crab meat with flower petals. They ate from day to night, from lush grasslands to desolate deserts. Their stomachs seemed bottomless abyss. They ate for countless days and nights until Xiaosong could no longer eat. Then, a terrifying scene unfolded. Ahead lay the forbidden endless forest, a 3,000 square kilometer expanse of water containing a unique magnetic field. GPS and compasses were useless. Getting lost meant certain death. But Aru and Xiaosong remained calm, guided by James Sushi. They continued to feast. Xiaosong asked Aru what they were looking for. Aru said it was soap bubble fruit, a kind of fruit even they, unheard of ingredients, can only be found through James Sushi. The words had barely left his lips when Komatsu screamed. Aru was terrified by what he saw. James Sushi had been severed. The tens of thousands of kilometers of forest before them had vanished into thin air. Such a feat of moving mountains and seas was beyond human capability. Before the two could continue their shock, a strange noise came from behind. The chubby boy was carrying a pile of sushi. Seeing things were going badly, he dashed away. Aru immediately gave chase. Stealing his sushi without permission? This old man must be asking for trouble. However, when Aru caught up, the chubby boy was nowhere to be seen. Only a restaurant remained. The two were overjoyed, thinking it was the legendary 10-star Cloud Hidden restaurant. What fortune-telling sushi? What chubby boy? Forgetting everything else, the two foodies immediately decided to have a feast. However, as soon as they opened the door, the restaurant mysteriously vanished. Completely bewildered, they wondered what had happened. Even more strangely, Xiaofeng clearly saw someone sitting in an empty space eating, but when he checked again, it was empty. In this desolate wilderness, had they encountered a ghost? Just then, a voice came from the void, instructing the two to clasp their hands in a gesture of respect. As soon as the voice finished speaking, the restaurant reappeared before them. So the two decided to do as instructed, clasping their hands together and bowing. This time, they successfully entered the restaurant. Greeting them was Chiryu, the ninja ranked 15th on the world's gourmet list. Seeing their confusion, Chiryu explained that the restaurant had disappeared because the framework of the building was made from a timid tree. This would become invisible when slightly threatened, hence the name of the Hidden Cloud restaurant. However, the restaurant's invisibility wasn't designed to prevent guests from finding it, but rather to protect the ingredients, as all the ingredients are extremely delicate and easily damaged. Suddenly, the chubby boy rushed forward to inform Chiyuri that the food inside was running low. Wasn't this the thief from before? Before Aru could explode, Chiyuri explained that the chubby boy was an employee. He had simply seen the scattered sushi while passing by and picked it up. Someone else had cut the sushi. Then Aru asked about the soap bubble. Surprisingly, Chiyuri actually knew the location of the soap bubble fruit deepest in the endless forest, where the temple is called Shilin Temple. The soap bubble fruit is the temple's most prized possession, passed down through generations. After saying this, he invited the two to try the restaurant's food. The first dish was broth with seaweed and sake. However, when Aru picked up the glass to drink, the sake suddenly evaporated. It turned out that to drink the sake, the surface of the sake couldn't be disturbed even slightly, otherwise the sake would instantly evaporate. The second dish was a million tomatoes, requiring strict control of force. The slightest force would cause it to explode. The third dish was a bowl of radiant star rice. Even with bloodshot eyes, one couldn't blink, or the rice would turn to charcoal. Aru and Komatsu were unwilling to give up and ate the fourth dish, sunshine cheese. It had to be eaten in sunlight, otherwise it would turn black. The two quickly put the cheese away. They put one bizarre ingredient after another into their mouths, leaving the two both delighted and furious. After working for most of the day, they had barely eaten anything. Meanwhile, the Mediterranean-looking man next to them ate very roughly, yet managed to put all the food into his mouth. What method did he use? Who was he? At this moment, Chenlu stepped forward and introduced him as Master Jin, one of the national treasures of human cuisine and also the instructor of Shilin Temple. Aru and Xiaosong's ultimate goal for this trip was the 4 treasures of Shilin Temple, the soap bubble fruit. The two immediately explained their purpose to Master Jin, who, without hesitation, led them directly to Shilin Temple. However, as soon as Aru stepped onto the steps, golden spikes suddenly appeared under his feet, followed by a giant rock flying overhead, and then a rain of swords, one after another. Was this some kind of murder plot?